Am I the asshole for confronting my family about my brother being praised for the bare minimum? I, 21F, am having a major issue with my family, especially my mom, over my brother, 23M. To give some context, my brother and I have always been treated differently, but it's really started to bother me more as I've gotten older. Growing up, I was expected to help out around the house, get good grades, and be involved in extracurricular activities. My brother, on the other hand, was never held to the same standards. He would get praised for doing the absolute bare minimum, like taking out the trash once in a blue moon or managing to get a C on a test he barely studied for. Recently, things have escalated. My brother dropped out of college last year and has been living at home, working part-time. My parents, particularly my mom, treat him like he's some kind of hero for even having a job, despite the fact that he contributes almost nothing to the household. Meanwhile, I'm juggling a full-time university schedule, a part-time job, and volunteer work to help me get into med school. And yet, any accomplishment of mine is met with a good job at best. Last night was the final straw. My brother came home with groceries, something he has never done before, and my mom acted like he just donated a kidney to a dying child. She went on about how helpful and thoughtful he is. I snapped and asked her why she always praises him for doing the bare minimum while ignoring everything I do. She got defensive and told me that my brother is trying his best. I pointed out that I've been trying my best for years without any of the praise he gets, and she exploded, saying I was being disrespectful and causing drama. My dad and brother both told me to drop it and apologize, but I refused. I ended up leaving the house to cool off, but things have been tense ever since. I can't help but feel that there's some underlying misogyny here. It seems like my mom has different expectations for me because I'm a woman, and that my brother gets a free pass because he's a man. My friends agree with me, but my family thinks I'm overreacting and being unfair to my brother. So, am I the asshole for confronting my family about this? Comments from netizens. Comment 1. Not the asshole. If the situation is truly as you described, then your family is a group of raging misogynists. It does sound very lopsided in your treatment versus that of your brother. For now, do whatever you need to do to keep getting the benefit of living there, to keep your expenses low. It's hard to put up with this kind of thing indefinitely, but you have an end in sight, med school. Keep your sights high. You need to get through your pre-med and into school. Once there, apply for all the financial aid you can and get yourself out of this toxic atmosphere as soon as possible. Once you are out of there, although it will be difficult to meet all the expenses, you will feel so much better for not having to put up with it anymore. Hang in there. All the best. Replay 1. My mother is facing this now. She's getting old and recently made some really bad financial decisions that all of her kids advised against, but she didn't listen. Since the day he was born, she's devoted 99% of her time, attention, and money to only the youngest of her 4 children. Not sure what she expected would happen, but the end result of infantilizing him is that he can't afford to help her out, and the other 3, including me, had already made it very clear to her that neither she nor him are our responsibility, and for what it's worth, none of us are particularly wealthy. I don't know if she'll be able to afford to keep her house. It's sad to see, but really not my problem. Replay 2. Might have nothing to do with sex and just him being the golden child. I had a family dynamic similar, but my sister got all the praise and support. I went to uni and they refused to sign off saying they weren't supporting me, so I could get financial help, as it would make them look bad, to some nameless bureaucracy. My sister got a credit card they paid for, rent paid, and a car. That's just the tip of the iceberg too. I have ended up doing vastly better in life than my sister and learned to let that shit go, except for when anyone tries to deny it happened, then I call out that bullshit. With my kids, I try to make everything fair. If I'd help one in some way, I try to help the others in similar ways if possible. Keeping things fair and equal has turned out kids who are now adults and catch up fairly regularly and get along well. OP's family are just glaringly uneven in their treatment, and the reasons for that would be known to the parents. Comment 2. Not the asshole, and I'm proud of you for standing up for yourself. It's often common for families to have a golden child and a scapegoat, especially when a parent is a narcissist. Unfortunately, from experience, I can't promise that anything will ever change, but I do think that you learn to accept it. For me, I'm grateful that I have space for my parents, from them not reaching out, versus my sibling who has to talk to them all the time. Comment 3. Not the asshole, though I wonder how your brother feels and if you see the entire picture. I was the high-achieving younger daughter. My older brother was the kid with mediocre grades, although he did his fair share of chores, part-time job, etc. My brother was always, poor John, he tries hard but, as they sighed and looked at me. I was praised for my good grades, although, it comes so easy to you, you don't have to study. Not true, I studied plenty. All my praise dried up as soon as my brother left for college. They were only praising me in front of him to put him down. I wonder if there's a similar dynamic in your household, and your brother has given up because he knows he can't live up to your example. Your parents are certainly bad news either way. Comment 4. Welcome to the real world OP, a place where men get praised and adored for doing a fraction of the work women do. In my office, men do mediocre work and people shut up when they talk, while women have to work twice as hard to get half the recognition. When I was a child, my grandparents made the girls serve the boys food around the dinner table while they sat and ate. Needless to say, they didn't have to do any of the housework. During COVID, it became obvious women were taking the blunt for all the housework, childcare, and jobs. Just last night I went to visit friends and my male friend kept telling his wife to go get me this and that while he just sat there in the lounge chatting to me and she ran around like a busy bee. Ridiculous. It's all a joke. OP, you are not the asshole. Tell your parents to grow a conscience and be better than what they are right now.